And in 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the Bold Beautiful Mini Spotlight. I am James Law Jr., and we're doing a special episode because this person is a special person. We're going to talk to him, but first we introduce my two co-hosts, of course, Tami and Amanda Russ. Hello, ladies.
Hey, y'all.
We were just on. If you didn't watch it, our show, the actual regular recap is out right now on YouTube. Go ahead and check that out on JLJ Media, my online network. Chat room is open, so come on in. The water's fine. And speaking of fine, my buddy who came on like 4 or 5 years ago came on, but he's always very supportive of me and the show, and one of the nicest guys in the business. You know him as Justin Barber, and you guys were scared for him. He's going to lose the job. He's here. He's doing fine, and he does other things besides Bold and Beautiful too. But my friend Aaron D. Spears. Hello, Aaron.
Hey, what's happening, man? Glad to be here. As always, a pleasure.
Now, who are you wearing? Whose shirt is that?
Oh, my son plays for this futsal team called Toque, and they just won the Nationals and the World Championships 2 years in a row.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, congrats to your son. You said 2 years in a row. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, man, it's been quite a journey, bro. He keeps me traveling, that's for sure. If it ain't Vegas, it's Florida, London, Paris. I mean, I've been everywhere.
Well, don't you have like 20 kids? Like, you have a lot of kids?
25, actually. Yeah. 4 girls, 1 boy. You know how we do. I had to end up getting cable. We were doing too much personal entertainment.
Get them on the computer.
Exactly.
I love that. Oh my God, you have a very beautiful family. So he's here. We're going to talk about Justin Barber. So, I mean, I wanted to open it up because I just want to go with the fans. Curious because you were online, you saw it. The fan reaction was very much they were scared for you and your character. Like they were really protective of Justin and Aaron. How did that feel?
I mean, anytime you're appreciated or people are happy and or disappointed, the fact is that you're speaking about something that I'm portraying. So that in itself is very humbling and a grateful gesture. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, come on, y'all. It's the soaps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what are y'all up in arms about? You could be eating berries on a mystery island, making love to one another, and then can't remember. I mean, you know what I mean? Your ghosts come back from the dead. You just saw him get shot, but then the next episode, he's in a love scene with a ghost or something. Like, it's the soaps. Come on, y'all, just play along. We've been waiting for a storyline for who knows how many years, 11 years to be exact. And now we have one and some of y'all are complaining. I'm like, dude, seriously, come on, man. It's enough that you can bite and sink your teeth into. And I was able to make something from it. So, hey, this is all good.
But you make a good point. It's that people have been waiting for a Justin storyline. Well, okay, now we got one. Go for the ride. I mean, that's like the point, like, go for the ride. I mean,
just go for the ride.
Happening. Go for the ride. It's finally, yes.
Finally. Let's just go for the ride. You got tickets to Disneyland, go on everything you possibly can. Wait all the way until the park closes, you know?
So we are a strong believer in synchronicity and everything happens for a reason. So your shirt reminded me of the word torque.
Oh, wow.
I was like, torque. Let me just look that up. And it says apply torque or a twisting force to an object. And that your storyline, talk about a twist.
Yes.
Right.
When we did the recap that following Sunday about that week and your underground dungeon you had and knocking Thomas on the ground. Like, how is he dragging Thomas? Matt Atkinson's like 6'4".
Yeah, right. Matt's huge. They're like, how is he doing all that? I'm like, okay.
So we were that taken aback. What was it like to sink your teeth into that?
It's always good to be able to live things out fully, fully realized characters. And I know for a lot of people, I guess Justin's portrayal at that particular point was out of quote unquote character, but I'm like, considering it's been so many years of being Bill's confidant, right-hand man, his Robin to his Batman, at some point you become what you hang around, what you put energy towards. So I'm learning from the best. And then there's opportunities presenting themselves and you're kind of going against the grain. I get that they're your sons, but like, dude, I've been rocking with you since day one. You know, I mean, I helped build this company. What do you mean you're giving it to your son? And so then the animosity or the envy starts to sink in. And then there's always another side to everyone. Yeah, we're all on the, what is this thing? The Zoom smiling, but there's still another side to you. There's another side to every single person. So for me, it was like, okay, cool. They really didn't tell me much. They don't tell me jack, to be honest. I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, they handed me the script and it was like, okay, this is where we're going. And so for my first note to Ed, which is the consulting supervisor up in the booth, I said, look, man, if we're going to do this, let's do it. You know, let's not halfway do it. I'm not here to do the halfway. So if we're not going to do it full out, then I mean, I'm really not interested. He was like, man, let's go for it. And one of the other directors, I think she was one of the first ones that directed me, Jennifer Howard, she wanted to go all in. So we tried some things. We wanted to go there. Yeah, I wanted it to be a shock. And then I had another director that kind of sums up the whole scenario, I guess, around B&B and then my character. She's like, man, I was so happy you got a chance to do this, that, and the other. I was really surprised. And I said, well, she was like, how did you, manage to even, get there and go to that point? I'm glad you had the opportunity. And I said, well, I luckily get a chance to do other things based on the relationship that I have with B&B. And honestly, the only show that doesn't kind of use me in that capacity is B&B.
Right.
So she was kind of like, so, man, how did you manage that? And I'm like, well, think about it. If I come in, she's like, I would have been kicking and complaining and, oh my God, I would have been all over the place. I would have just been making a fool of myself because I'd have been so upset. My original intention for why I came wasn't portrayed. And then I ended up being what you guys have seen for the last 11 years. I said, well, can you imagine a black guy coming in pouting, huffing and puffing on a whole white show? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't think that would have went too well. So you learn to make lemons out of lemonade, which is something that we've had to do pretty much our whole lives. And then considering B&B and its reputation up until recent, man, it's just an all-white show. That's just what it is. And so now you got this black guy coming in that's supposed to be the patriarch of this family, and then things go not awry, but they go left or they go right. And that's not what I'm portraying. So I just chose to, instead of coming to work pouting and being a butthole, I'm always on time. I'm always going to know my lines. I'm always going to have a good attitude because at the end of the day, I'm still working. So when this came up, it was just an opportunity to just flex a little bit. Just, show you what's there. If you choose not to use it, that's cool with me too, because I've already had to accept that as well. And then I've had a lot of people say, well, why are you happy? I say, well, happy is one of those things. Maybe within the first 3 to 5 years, you're happy. It's something you wanted and it happened. Now I'm just, tremendously grateful. But happy? I'm not really happy. I mean, it is what it is. We had to wait 11 years for it to get to this point, but I'm glad that I finally and grateful that I got something that I could sink my teeth into. And where it goes from here, I'm not a writer. I'm not the executive producer. I don't know where it goes from here. I'm just glad to have been given the opportunity to work with some talented people, and Don and Katie and Will and Wyatt and the whole cast and crew. I know that's their character names, but I'm just saying, just to be able to, mix it up for once. Be able to, we're all in this playground and you got all of this sand and it's like, okay, you guys get to make sand castles and I'm just watching. After a while, it's like, come on, man, I want to make a sand castle too, bro. Can I get a little bit of water? Can I make a little mud too?
But Aaron, it's so funny. You say something that it reminded me of Michelle Nichols, who played Uhura on Star Trek. She said it years later. Dr. King told her, you can't leave Star Trek. You just being on Star Trek is enough.
Right.
And I feel like, Justin, you are known as a good guy. So in a sense, you're showing people in the Midwest and in other countries, black men can be good men, can be good guys, they can be lawyers. I mean, so no matter what your screen time was, twice a week or once a month, it was still kind of like good to have you on there.
Yeah. And I've been up, down, and around. Both of us have. B&B with me and me with B&B. I mean, Justin, let's just be real, okay? Justin could have been off the show years ago. Are you kidding me? For what he was being, you know what I'm saying? He was just kind of like Don's sidekick doing this, that, and the other, and anything he wanted me to do, I did. But we chose to make an investment in one another. B&B and myself and B&B. Okay, hey, I understand it didn't work out the way it was supposed to, but we made like this amicable choice to say, all right, we're going to be cool with one another. If you need me, I'm there, regardless of where I'm at in the world. When I was doing Being Mary Jane, I would fly back from Atlanta to California and vice versa without any sleep, just to make good on my word, because that means a lot to me. So because you've been able to help me sustain my family over the years, and maybe nothing else was popping or going on but B&B. And although I was a sidekick or somebody's sounding board, hey, I still had a check that was dropping. You know, I'm still living the dream. So I think people have to take that into perspective too. You know, everyone's human, including the writers, including the executive producer, and we're all trying to make good. And it just so happened that things aligned where you had, how am I gonna forget dude's name? Dude that got killed in the world that he put his foot on his neck.
George Floyd?
Yeah, George Floyd, right? George Floyd happened. You had the accumulation of people being frustrated and tired and wanting Justin to have this, that, and the other. And then, okay, when are we going to get some more Black people in front of the screen, behind the screens? And B&B could have easily ignored that, but they took it upon themselves. We got more Black people in front of the screen than I've ever seen in my 11 years there. Yeah. It was just me being jolly in the background usually. You understand what I'm saying? That's not the case anymore. You had Black people in the makeup. You got a writer. I haven't seen any directors yet, but you got more people in front of the screen. So they answered the call and they stepped up to the plate. Whether you can't please everyone. So somebody's not going to like the storyline. Somebody's, okay, dude, come on, man. For now, let's go for the ride. Let's see where it takes us. It gave us some entertainment. That's what it is. It's entertainment. This is not a real city, in case you guys didn't know. You know, Bold and the Beautiful. There is no Spencer Publications, all right? You know, Forrester Creations is not real, all right? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
And Aaron, you also were great. George brought this up in the chat room. You were great for a minute when you were on Days of Our Lives as Reigns. I was like, I know him. Yeah.
And I honestly think everything happens for a reason. I think that was the beginning, actually, of the wake-up call, because I didn't just jump ship, you know, just to jump ship. I respectfully, even though I wasn't on contract, I called them like, hey, I'm going to go do a day play over at Days. And it was a day play, but it just kept growing and kept growing. It was a on-camera screen test in front of a live audience and viewers that have been with the show forever. And so I guess I passed whatever test that was they were saying that I could pass. And then it just continued to go. But it also woke B&B up to like, hey, bro, I mean, you know I'm here for you, but come on, man. Can you give me something? Like, can you give me something to chew on? Can I get a doggy bone? Can I get the scraps? Bro,
Amanda, go ahead.
Come on. I ain't chopped liver. I can act too. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And so
I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry, but the caliber of your acting is just the same caliber as Don's. And I've been watching the show for 20 years, and I think like, oh, why won't you give him something? Anything. Let him kidnap somebody.
Yeah.
Like something, anything, you know?
No, I love you for that, because, you know, it's been a lot of views out there that have continually promoted that for the entire 11 years. And for me, it was just my job to smile and take it, you know, and not make a big fuss. You know, I let as you see, when I speak, and it wasn't as if I was hiding anything. And if anyone asks a specific question, I answer it, and I answer it truthfully. I didn't make the bid that you're particularly laying in, B&B. You chose to go in the one color direction, not me. You brought me on for a certain reason. You didn't use me for that reason. And I'm still here, but people would say I was underutilized. So just for them thinking that I'm underutilized is, for me, like humbling, because you could be like, he sucks. We don't care. Get lost very easily, you know. And I love me some Don, man. That's my dude, man. That's my guy. Me and him, man, we're fools, man. We get on set. Bruh, it's never a dull moment when it's us two together. So for him to embrace me, the character from the beginning, and all the ups, downs, trials, and tribulations, and then to have to accept a storyline that is possibly detrimental to the relationship that we've had to build over very limited like dialogue and interaction. We were always making the best of what was given to us, whether that meant Don rewriting stuff and we're coming up with words and they're like, no, we're like, but that's cool. No, you guys can't say that. Or, you know, they don't know what DAP was at that time. We were giving each other DAP. Man, you know how many years it took for us to get DAP on screen? You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like, oh my gosh, I love my folks there, but I'm like, bro, y'all got to come up out of the closet. Good God.
Exactly.
We're just dapping fists. Like, what I mean, we're punching each other. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Right. So, I mean, his warmth, embrace, and he's a type A personality. I'm a type A personality. I didn't come to the show to be Robin. I came to the show to be Batman. You understand? But then I had to understand that, I guess what? My Batman thing isn't going to quite pan out. So it can't be two Batman. So then I have to, you know, subside and say, I'm going to allow you to be Batman and I'm going to be Robin. And if Robin gets his chance to shine and have his own, whether that's DC, Marvel, wherever Robin and Batman come from, when I get a chance to have my movie, guess what? I'm going to do my thing. But until then, I'm going to respect those years that you put in work. And I'm not going to try to outshine Batman. That's dumb. Because that's when you cause controversy and turmoil within the workplace. And just as fast as you got your little high yellow butt in there, Mr. Spears, you can get your high yellow butt fired.
Well, I want to let's go into that because people are talking about in the chat room. Those we're gonna touch more on the storyline too. But this I gotta mention, because you mentioned about you and Don. Those scenes, everyone here, we agree, Emmy nomination worthy scenes between both of you. I thought,
wow, thank you, man.
Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, match for match. When you started to tear up and then he started to tear up, I was like, this is a real breakup. Like,
I was bawling.
I was crying too. I was like, God bless America. These men got me crying.
We don't see that whether it's television or film or any medium. We don't see two strong men who love each other breaking down in front of one another.
Yeah. Right. And that's very
and because when you guys broke, when that betrayal, you both felt betrayed. It was beautiful, it was heart-wrenching, and it was cathartic. But I think from a fan perspective, you finally really saw the relationship between the two.
Yeah. And that's a testament to us on screen and off screen. Like, you know, that's my guy off screen as well. You know, I mean, I love me some Don. He gives so much, man. You know, and yeah, man, it hurt, you know. It just, you know, guys have tear ducts for a reason. God made men with tear ducts for a reason, not so they couldn't use them. That's why they're there. And so for us to go into something that could possibly tear us apart after working out 11 years of how do we make this work? How do we make them cool? Because they kept trying to make me something that I felt wasn't going to work. I was going to be like a Clarence Thomas type lawyer. And I'm like, no, dude, like Bill would run over that guy. He's not going to have anybody as his right-hand man that he could run over. And he would have to be cool to some extent. Don is cool as he is, and then Bill is cool as he is. Like, no, he's not going to have a cornball best friend. It's just not going to work. So I would always fight they would always write in the word boss. I never called him boss in 11 years. I would never say the word. I'm like, because he's not my boss. He's my friend who just happens to own the company. That's it. He's not my boss. He doesn't run me. He doesn't tell me what to do. So we would go back and forth for that for years. And then finally it worked out. So then when it comes to this climax of us splitting apart, I mean, some people are like, man, I saw more tears between two dudes breaking up than some of the relationships on this show.
No, exactly. I'm like, are they gonna make out or something after? Like, what's going on? But it felt so real. And I keep trying to tell people, sometimes the worst breakups are friendships. Some of the worst betrayals are friendships. Because family, you kind of expect some things sometimes, or a relationship, but when it comes to a friendship, those breakups can be, I mean, devastating. And you can just tell he was so hurt. His character was so hurt, but Justin was hurting too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was two grown men hurting, man. You know, two alpha males realizing that I'm vulnerable. I have a niche in my kilt, so to speak, that is, if you hit that spot, man, it's gonna let loose. The waterworks are gonna go, because we both have like tons of kids. You know, we can have our own professional team.
Yeah, I know. You and Don. Oh my God, yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
So it really just hit home, man. We really didn't talk too much during that time. I was mostly with Matt, you know, running lines and what have you. And one day he came up to me, because I could feel like as a person, we both didn't know where this is going to go. It's like, so is this the end of Bill and Justin? You know, what's going to happen? Like, because the only thing Bill really has is Justin. And so far, the only thing Justin has is Bill. So he ain't getting none. You know, I ain't got no problem. You know what I'm saying? He got the biggest blue balls I ever seen in my life, bro. So I'm like,
we say it all the time. We're like, Justin and Donna.
Talk about underutilized. Jennifer Garris, my living word.
She's hot.
Yeah. And man, me and her had chemistry since day one, since the first audition.
Oh yeah.
And you can't really put money behind chemistry. Chemistry either happens or it doesn't. We've always had it. I don't know what it was. It was like from the audition, it was like, man, when we left the room, they were like, God, y'all had some crazy chemistry. I was like, yeah, that was wild, you know. So man, I'm down for the ride. Like I say, I love me some Don. I still think it's time for Bill and Justin to kind of go through their mesh, so to speak, or I should say, untangle the mesh. And if it comes back together, great. But I just think that, you know how Bill is, man. You cross Bill, he's gonna be pissed, and then Justin is now came into his own. Like I'm not a sucker, you know, just gonna push me over.
Justin hightailing it to Forrester. Are you effing kidding?
That was shocking.
That oh really? You're so sorry, Justin. You're going over to Forrester Creations, right? Yeah, you're really sorry.
Yeah, that's a gangster move right there.
It was. We're like, boy,
it was awesome.
It was awesome. I was like, dang, he went over to FC. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I still don't know what's going on. They're writing. I know we went on hiatus. I know they're writing. Yeah. You know, and I know Don has some words to tell them what should and shouldn't be done. Man, who knows what they're gonna listen to? But you know, I am happy though. I really am happy that I felt like they listened to the fans, and I felt like I got a validation from that. I was privy to an interview that Bradley Bell was doing, and the set was closed, but I was, you know, cleaning up and doing whatever, and they were doing it. And to hear him say, "I hear you guys," like, you know, you may love it, you may hate it, but just the fact that you're talking about it means so much to him. And I said, you know what? I don't ever remember hearing him say that before, but it seems like from that last fan event, there was so much love that I received. I just couldn't do anything but be quiet. And they kept asking me stuff about Justin. And ironically, Brad was sitting beside me. I would just turn and look at him like, hey, ask him. You know, and I think it finally sunk in, you know, people really are invested in this Justin character. Let's see if we can't do something with it. So I'm glad to have the fans listen to and finally gave them something to sink their teeth into as well.
Yeah, folks, if you don't realize, they had this fan event where it was a drive-by on stage. Yeah. It was very successful. And it was a great thing. So yeah, it was kind of cool. I mean, the thing is that, you know, Justin has been around. He's part of the fabric. People always forget too that they're always shocked to realize that your character is related to characters on Y&R.
Yeah.
that you're cousins with Nate and Olivia, the Drusilla and all that. That's the same family.
Yeah.
And I mean, people seem like they all like they're related. I'm like, yes, they're related.
Yeah.
So
and you know, that's been an interesting dynamic. So as much as I love B&B, man, and everybody there, you know, I'm still human. I still have to process things. So, you know, coming in, I was this patriarch. I had a family. I had a son. I had a niece. I had a granddaughter. I'm related to people over the Y&R. And it was hard seeing everything that was the outline and the buildup of Justin handed to other people. Don didn't have any kids when I came to the show. I had kids. Don didn't have a wife when I came to the show. I was the one that had the girl. So all of those storylines matriculated to him. And so to sit there and have to watch that and then portray it, no one's thinking about that. And then I understand why it's done, because there's only so many stories that can be told, you understand? And there's only so many characters you're going to introduce. But then the final thing was people going over to Y&R. All of these things were told to me on the elevator ride up to my final audition in terms of the plans for Justin. There's big plans. He's related to Y&R. He's probably going to go over to Geneva or whatever city. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, cool, let's do it. And none of it happened. Yeah. You know, I had a son. I mean, they act like I don't even speak to him now.
Where is he?
I haven't had a word with my son, and who knows when. Yeah. Donna's still there on the set. We don't have any scenes, no interaction, no previous. Everybody rekindles, lights the flame every now and again. You know what I'm saying? You might come home and put on a little candle, you know? Whether or not you leave it on all night is a different thing, but you're going to like that sucker, you know? So I get none of that. And so I have to emotionally live through that as the person coming to work, preparing to do whatever it is, X, Y, and Z, and still have a good attitude, knowing that all of a sudden your storylines are going to other characters on the show, you know, and then they go, Bill goes over to Y&R, and then Eric goes over to Y&R. And like I say, I get it, but like, when am I going over Y&R? You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, when am I going to talk to my son? You know, when am I going to talk to my granddaughter? When am I going to talk to at least address my niece? Because I was trying to get that in there.
Thank you.
I was so trying to get that in there. I say it all the time. When we were in when he was in the cage, oh, bro, it was plenty of times we had to do something over because I said something about my niece. Because I'm like, man, I would be pissed with dude. You know, it would also make sense on why I keep him in the cage so long.
Right. That's what I thought.
I just
That's what I said.
They kept on saying, no, let's want to water down the bill. I'm like, no, people aren't dumb. You don't need to spoon feed them. They get it. You done mess with my niece and now this situation. So it's a mixture of all of it. He's convoluted in the mind. Why won't we drop that in there? Then that satisfies that particular story point, as well as people like, okay, now this is really making sense. He's pissed. But I lost that.
Man, as you said, you always put the Emma thing. You always talk about our girl Nia Summer. But man, that's one of your things, right? The history of that.
Yeah, because you didn't get a chance to like really react, and like I'm mad about it. I know you're mad about it, right? Yeah. I know he's mad about it. Like,
See, that line came in right after I knocked him out. So when I knocked him out the first take, I was like, that's for Emma. But they wouldn't let me. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't let me. So then I tried to throw it in again around the cage. We were doing something in the cage. I tried to throw it in again. Aaron, well, that's not going to work.
I laughed. That's so frustrating.
That first punch made me laugh because you're just like Thomas. He's like, yeah. Like, oh, okay. Exactly. You're just like Thomas. 1 second. Like, no, you're not going. No, you're going nowhere.
I can't get a good angle that way. Turn around for me.
Exactly. I'm like, it's like, because that was the first entry to like, Justin do something we never seen do before. Like, this was like,
right.
Okay, this is okay. And then the ride going forward. Now, I just gotta say, but to me, that we always laughed about was that was the slowest moving door of doors. It was like, so when Hope was trying to get there, she had plenty of time. She could have had lunch, went to downtown LA, came back over, and then the door was still closing. I was like,
exactly.
The slowest closing door.
She went over to Y&R and then came back.
we had this little chuckle on that. I mean, we love you. We love you guys. We love everybody. But just it made us laugh. We were like, that was the slowest door on earth. It's like, okay.
Yes.
So we really hope that the writers are watching this, because Myra in the chat says What if Justin and Eric decide they want Donna back? Triangle?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
It kind of, I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, it was kind of like that because she had just kind of freshly come off of Eric, and then I kind of came to the scene, and I didn't know I had a son, and she had to tell me, and we had this kind of little romance thing going on. So it was a little triangle-ish then, but like now
It's
it would
right.
really pop off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would really pop off.
Well, I want to ask you, because speaking of Black folks getting screen time, it seemed like your screen time and our buddy Lawrence St. Victor's been on our show many times. We love Lawrence. Another Lawrence. Both you guys at the same time.
Right.
Storylines accelerate. Quarter's hot. We just had a show about how hot Quarter is. Him
Right.
and Rita Sofer just. I mean, and for me as a Black man, I'm like, Americans like it. Okay, I'm like, we would have saw this 10 years ago, 5 years ago, so I'm really happy. But both of you and Lawrence are having the time of your lives right now on that show.
Yeah, at first I was like, what is this? You trying to get rid of all the Black people or what? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's really going on, you know? But then I said, look, this is the soaps, and I got a chance to talk to him personally, and I was so happy that he got a chance to write and just, exercise another hat. And man, he helped a lot in terms of just, helping me to understand, what he could tell me. Because again, he's now on the other side of the fence, right? Yeah. I can't open the fence all the way up and just tell you stuff, but so we talked, man, and it just made sense. And he was just saying, just live it for real, because you've gone through so much with the show as a person. It almost kind of mirrors the same type of frustration, of you wanting to do this, that, and the other, and then it not happening. And then Justin wanting to do this, that, and the other, and it's not happening. So it's kind of like a culmination for the actor as well as the character. And he said, just go with it. And so I was really lucky and blessed that they allowed me to run with it, because you don't really, on B&B, we don't really like rehearse how we're going to do it, so to speak. We go over it. But because we've been doing it so long, sometimes in the rehearsal right before the tape, we could be acting a fool, still saying the lines, but just having a blast. And then what really triggered me was one time I was working with Katie, Heather Tom, and we were laughing in the rehearsal. Then action, I said, "Where did you go? Well, how the hell are you going?" Right? That sunk me in so deep. I said, wow, how do you do that? And so for us to be able to live these characters full out, me and Carter, man, it's been great just to be on set together, because I was the guy, kind of schooling all the Black people when they came in. Hey, man, this is what it is. This is what it's like. Ain't nobody else you can talk to is Black. So guess what? I'm the guy. Right. I'm kind of like that, and this is what it's about. And then for it to come full circle, for us to both have storylines. And I remember one time before in the courtroom, we thought we were going to have like storylines together, and we were going to be like the battling lawyers, and that didn't happen. But it could happen though, because I've heard a line about him representing Eric, and they hired me to represent Rena's character, right? Quinn. So it's just been good, man. It's always good to walk into an environment and have familiar faces that have always been there, but then at the same time to see somebody that you kind of came up with, me and Carter, and having all of those conversations and all of those schooling sessions on just how to maneuver the waters of being on set at B&B, and behind the scenes, and what they're expecting of you, and showing up on time and knowing your lines. And you always got to be better, 3 times better. So don't underestimate that. Come ready, come prepared. So it was really, really good to have him and all the other people around. And let's just be honest, other people of color there, because I never experienced that, and it does make a difference, because that's your familiarity. I'm a crazy about people. I love people and cultures. Anybody that knows me knows that. But just to be able to walk in and see something that you're familiar with, that you can, there's some resemblance of familiarity, even if it's the unfortunate thing of skin tone.
And now I was just going to say, we need to be honest. Mm-hmm. General Hospital has amazing representation. Yes. Days of Our Lives is kicking butt with representation. Y&R kicking butt. Yeah. Bold's got a lot of catching up to do.
Yes, they
They
do.
started, but
Yeah.
there's a soap that's got the most catching up to do.
The most, absolute most. And just because you've done this little bit doesn't mean that now you've satisfied your quote unquote quota. It's time to push the envelope even further. It feels like they're moving in that direction in an earnest way, like a heartfelt way, which is good because it could be a forced way. You know, and I felt like before it was like trying to force a round peg into a square. And we kept trying, just they weren't receptive or they weren't willing to do so. And now it feels different. So we'll see how far this goes and how long it lasts. So
Amanda, you have any question for him? It's right in front of you. Got a question?
Me? Are you me?
Yes, Amanda.
Sorry.
Hey, before you ask me that question, that background you got going on with that tan and that red, whatever that folder thing is, I'm like, what is that? That's tight. What is that?
It's one of those room dividers.
That's what I thought that was. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. All right, sorry.
You made the color stuff on it. You made the stuff on it, right? Yeah. Amanda?
Yeah. I could change the colors.
Oh, so sweet, bro. That's nice. Good job.
I always have lighting issues. I don't know why. So I had to do something.
You don't have me. I don't have the beautiful environment like your other two hosts. You know, their house is always neat. Everything's looking all nice in the background. I'm like, nah, I gotta go quarantine myself to a room or do what you do. Get a divider for real.
I heard you say, I listened to an interview you did, and I heard you say that when you first moved to LA, it was very difficult for you.
Yeah.
So what made you stay? Because he turned down being in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Most people would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and there were a lot of people saying that, believe me. Luckily, my parents were supportive. My mother didn't quite understand it too much because she knew how much as a child I wanted. That was my like childhood dream and I wanted it. And then all of a sudden you're giving it up. But I realized that in my life, blessedly so, I had never not accomplished anything. So I'm like, okay, so if God, Hare Krishna, Buddha, the universe, whatever that other thing is that you believe is out there that's bigger than yourself, has never let me down, and I've never failed up until now, what makes me think that I'm gonna fail at this? So it was football. Football was a sport that paid you to destroy your body. Just get down to the bare facts. Yeah. And I had gotten to the point where I was kind of tired of beating my body up. You're never healthy. You're only as healthy as your last play. And you can't go to the corner store and get a knee ligament. So I knew that at some point time would be limited. I begin to live at that lifestyle. Then I am forced to go into the field. I'm forced to get shot up, surgeries, et cetera, in order to provide a paycheck, not only for myself, but for my family. So acting was that thing that gave me that same feeling, that same, ooh, wait a minute now, this is something else. I like this. And I was like, I feel like I can do this and it doesn't destroy my body. And I can do it for a much longer period of time. So maybe it's best I get in now as opposed to going, I had the plan, go play in the NFL, do well, and then become a sportscaster, still kind of fade into the entertainment side of things. And once I got back from college, I had gotten drafted by the New York Jets, or picked up by the New York Jets, I should say. And I had a stress fracture in my leg. I decided like, I could go full tilt with this, but this could go two ways. I could re-break it, or I could not be 100%, and then I get traded, and then I got to keep bouncing around from team to team, and now I'm making a living in different cities, and I'm all over the place. Or I could just say to hell with it, cry my butt off, which I did for an entire week, and just go full tilt into this acting thing, a world that I didn't even know. I didn't go to school for acting. I didn't do any of that. Second semester, senior year of my college, second semester of my senior year in college, the speech teacher would not allow me to make up a speech, and he made me do a play. And that's where the bug bit me. I didn't want to do no dumb play. I was like, dude, just give me the paper, homie. I don't want to do this. This is dumb. But lo and behold, here I sit, and this is my livelihood, and this is how I make a living. I'm glad it's a choice that I made now, because even to this day, I'm still suffering from injuries and body cramps and aches from sports. But it's a crazy profession as well. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm like, good God, what made me choose this, bro? Man.
I know that's amazing. It's amazing. It's one of those things that, you know, every choice is, there's no coincidence. Every choice is made for a reason, and you are where you're supposed to be. And we're glad you're acting. And like I say, you've done other things like being Mary Jane and stuff. I mean, is there anything you're working on now outside of B&B at the moment? Anything else?
Man, 2021 has been off the chain. I don't know what. Yo, 2020 was horrible. Like, oh my God. I was like about to lose everything. The house, the van, everything. Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Can I get a break? Can I get bailed out? You know? But 2021 has really been, I've been working a lot. I have 1, 2, 3 different TV shows that'll be coming out soon. 2 different movies. And probably be leaving to go do some other stuff here in a little bit. So that's 5 projects within 7 months that I've already done. Yeah, and like lead roles and stuff too. So, I mean, go figure, you know?
I want to ask you a question. This is my own personal thing I want to ask about.
Yeah.
Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Love her to pieces. Great. What's it like to work with her?
What is it like to work with Gabrielle Union? I think that's one of the most asked questions I get.
Sure.
I
love her family. I love that they have a house. I just love her whole setup.
I'm gonna start with this, and then I'm gonna go into it. Man, I support Gabrielle Union like 300%, but it took me a minute to understand the 300% because Gabrielle can be moody, but that's Gabrielle. I can be moody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I came in all kind of jipper, and she's about to work. Like that girl puts in work. You understand what I'm saying? She has this photographic memory, so she knows her stuff. So if you come into the table with half stepping, and I always know my lines, and I'm pretty photographic myself, but the way people work is always different. For her, at first, she kind of had like this Kevin Spader type thing, James Spader. When I first met James Spader, he barely talked to me. You had to prove that you could show up on screen and do your work. And then once you did that, he was all love. Well, it kind of felt like that with Gabrielle at first. You know, we were supposed to be best friends on camera, but off camera, I don't know you. And you don't know me. And, you know, I may have a little jibber jabber chatter that I want to talk this, that, and the other about, but how am I going to show up to set every day? How am I going to portray this character? Do I know my lines? Am I bringing 100% to the table? And once I begin to understand that and everything that when you're leading a show, you're dealing with the network, you're dealing with advertisers, you're dealing with the whole encompassed ball of wax that is now moving forward, and you are the hood ornament on top of the ball of wax. And no one sees the conversations behind the scenes and all the other offers or jobs that may be coming in and the things that you're going through in your personal life. So, I mean, to be honest, we really didn't talk much the first 2 seasons. On camera, we were buds. But off camera, it was like, you say, like, so I'm talking right now, it'd be cut.
Crickets.
Crickets. You feel what I'm saying? And once I began to understand the plight and what she was carrying on her shoulders and what she was expecting from me and the rest of the crew, man, all hands on deck, you know, bow down. Like, she's a monster, man. I love some Gabrielle Union, bro. She's cool, folks. I like D Wade. You know, I like what they're standing for, what they stand up for. You know what I mean? So, like, if they ever need me for something, I'm there. But, like, you got to give people a chance to, you got to give yourself a chance to understand people. And when I finally understood, I remember sending her a text message, and she was like, man, that's the best text message I've gotten all year. Because she was going through it as well. And whether it was personal life on set, it's just a lot when you're dealing with a network that's coming from music videos, and now you want to be this big time entertainment. Well, hey, it's 2 different worlds. Corporate America and entertainment America, 2 different things. They operate differently. They pay differently. It's, you know, a whole different ball of wax. And we were the guinea pigs, so to speak, for BET to come out of their shell and be their thing. So she was dealing with a lot, man. And once I began to understand that, our relationship improved. Like, I can't wait to see her again. I'm really looking forward to seeing her and saying what's up. Just give her a big old hug, to be honest.
Tami, you got
Working with you, Aaron, I'm going to assume raises the bar with whoever it is you're working opposite of. And I definitely got that sense you working with Gabrielle. She raised the bar for you and you raised the bar for her. There's a lot of pressure involved with that. A lot of stress. You know, you compartmentalize these things. And to your point, there's probably personal stuff going on. There's the network machine that you're dealing with. For you personally, what have you created for yourself over the years that keeps you centered and heart protected?
Man, when you got 5 kids, bro, you centered and heart protected, whether you want to be or not. I'm gonna tell you, they can care less what Justin is doing. You understand? I'm hungry, and when are we going to the water park? Or when are we going to Disneyland? They can care less about Justin, for real. You know? So that definitely, family, definitely keeps me grounded. But I'm the type of guy, I'm not walking around thinking about what I do. Like, people come up to me every day, and every time they do, I am not in the frame of mind of who I am. And I guess I give them this kind of look like, oh, yeah. They have to remind me because I'm not thinking about that. I'm living life like you know, and are you? And if they ask, am I that person? I'll say yes, but I'm not the type that, you know, makes eye contact with everybody either. Right. Or, you know, I'm so-and-so. I don't do that, you know. If I've had a lot of people like, man, you sure do look like something. You sure look familiar. I get that a lot. Oh, man, you remind me of this person like so-and-so. Yeah, a lot of people tell me that. I don't be like, yeah, that's me. Bold and beautiful. Yeah, you might see me on TV. You know what I mean? No, I'm not that dude. Not that guy at all. You know? So I just continue being me, man, and just enjoy life. And I like people. I love people. Like, I have no problem with people. Like, how can you be mad with someone coming up to you, giving you love? Like, seriously? That doesn't bother me at all, man. I had to get used to it, though, because I suffered from anxiety for like 7 years. I wouldn't go to premieres. I wouldn't. And so that's actually a great question that you asked, because that leads into that. And I have some people around me that are suffering with that now. Not personal friends, not colleagues, but some people like outside of the industry as well as some within the industry. It's hard because they don't talk about the fans. They don't talk about the personal life. They don't talk about people coming up to you. They don't talk about premieres. You know, when you get to a certain level, Will Smith just can't go to 7-Eleven. Can you imagine Shaq popping in at Shakey's one day? You know what I mean? Like, bruh, it's different. And no one teaches you how to deal with that, especially when you're at a Will Smith level or Jamie Foxx or Johnny Depp. People lose their minds because of the things that have been promoted and what they think you are or how you're going to be, because you're in their living room. You have no idea who they are, but you're in bed with them sometimes every night, you know, and you're at dinner with them every night. So that's different. I learned to deal with it, just accepting that it kind of comes with the territory. And I felt like I kind of shot myself in the foot for years because I stayed off of social media in the beginning. I wouldn't go to premieres. I didn't do like interviews. I just wanted to just do my job and do the best that I could and just go home. But I'm like, that's kind of defeating the purpose. That's why The Rock's on Jerry Kimball right now. You know what I mean? Just promoting the movie. All righty, buddy. You got to promote your career. You got to suck it up and just get over yourself. So I somehow, some way just began to more so embrace the humanism of the individuals. And that took away the mystique of it all. You know, I'm grateful that you, the person, is coming. What's your name? We talk as humans. And then it's like, dang, they forget that you're Justin. And I also learned that from Oprah. Talking and meeting and working with Oprah, it didn't feel like Oprah. It was just, you know, She was just mad cool. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. You're so large, but you're so just personable. And so, you know, you take all of those little bits and pieces and you mesh it into who you've become or who you want to be. And I think that helps to keep you grounded, helps to keep you focused on the goal at hand.
I think that's true. I think the fans have to need to understand that because Tami and I, especially, we've interviewed celebrities over this. This is what we do for a living, as you know.
Right.
Big, small, in between. And that's the thing I'm learning, that everybody's just, they're humans. They're people.
Yes.
We're all doing a job. I know for folks, the barrier is they see you on a larger screen. They see you so much that it seems like you must be bigger and better and just, you know, all this stuff. Like, but not really. So we all have the same issues. I think last year, you brought up a little bit earlier, even the playing field for everybody went through the pandemic. Like everybody stopped working. Like everybody was struggling at home. Like, I think that was the first thing where we all were kind of equal. And as we're starting these little ventures, The View does Zoom. You know, they're on ABC. I'm doing Zoom. I'm on YouTube. It's the same thing.
Right.
The same technology issues that I have. So it's like it's even playing field now. So I want the fans especially to learn that these are regular folks. You know, Aaron's a regular guy who has a job, which is acting. He has a family. You know what I mean? It's like you know, Tami and man, we're all regular folks who have to be in front of you, but we're also with you. That makes sense.
The way I usually always break that down is you see me at work and I don't see you at work. It's the only difference. You don't, when you get off work, you aren't skipping through Ralph's, just talking about what kind of day at work you had. You understand? It's a job, bro.
Ralph.
Hey, did you see me at the office? Did you see me at that computer today? I was at that printer.
Exactly. So we're not thinking about that. That's what you're thinking about. And then you have to refresh our memories and like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, thank you. And you have to be humble and appreciative. I mean, I've been around some people that are just full of themselves. And I understand how Hollywood can make you that way, especially if you're at a certain level and you're working on a hit TV show and that TV show is on a lot, which means you go to and from the lot every day. You don't even really know how big the show is outside of their quote unquote bubble because you drive to and from the lot. You've been doing that maybe for 16, 17 years. And then hiatus, who knows, you might go on vacation to some remote island. So you don't really interact with the public. And so you got people opening doors. Are you okay, Mr. Spears? You need any water? Giving you things, powdering your face, opening doors, changing your clothes, tying your shoes. So you think life in the world is that way. And you begin to develop this false sense of who you are, as well as how the world should react and treat you. And then that's when you get in trouble. And that's when the drugs and all of these things come in.
But I'll tell you something. I have met some people who are leads of things where they're not like that at all. It's the it's the ones with the smaller roles who get a little big for their britches. You're like, oh, okay, you got the new fame. Okay, got it. Okay, you think you're something. But these old folks out there, they're like the best. They're like, oh, we get it. We're fine. And they know, like, you know the business. They know, because you understand, this entertainment business is not for the faint at heart. It's not for the smart folks. No. You'll be up today and down tomorrow, and maybe back up again later. But you just don't know.
That's why you treat people good. That's why you be nice to people. And don't force yourself to be nice. You need to find something within your heart and soul to respect the humanism within everybody. That's what you really need to do. And I don't get it. Why do we make so many things to make us different when there's so many things that we're alike? Even if you speak different languages, there's still so much you can learn from that person through their culture, through the things and experiences that they've had. I just really like people and cultures. Like, you know, hanging out with a person that probably makes you feel outside of your comfort zone, and you'll find a lot out about yourself. Yeah. Strike up a conversation with a stranger that has a different point of view. Boy, talking about uncomfortable. But I guess what? You'll learn yourself real quick.
Well, you know, there's a lot of sameness. We have a lot of sameness.
Yes.
In the world.
So we do,
man. On that. We need to focus on
I love it. I love it. I wish we all got along a little more, man, because there's so much that we can learn from each other. And so much good food we could eat.
Oh, don't get me started, Aaron. Do not get me started. Oh, don't get me started. I love to eat, and I love food from all cultures. I don't care what it is.
Me too.
Woo! The way to my heart is through my stomach. I tell you all the time, it's through my stomach.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. Aaron, thanks for being on the show. It's been an hour. We talked to you forever, but we don't take much more to your time. But you, as always, I said this to you off camera, on camera. You've always been so supportive. So thank you for doing this.
Always, man. I appreciate you two, you three, I should say, being here. Now you've grown into 3 hosts. Excuse me. I remember when it was only you.
He does. Folks. He was there at the beginning. He was there at the beginning. He was there. He knows. When I was
great choices as co-hosts, man. You guys do a great job. You guys look lovely. I love the way you flow together. Keep growing, man. Big things in the path for all 3 of you. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and I'll be here. If you ever need me, just call, buddy.
Thank you. And also, Casey, the producer there, said one day I'm getting a walk-on role. So maybe I'll act with you.
That's it.
He says he's gonna write me. He's gonna write me one.
That's right.
Anybody.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm totally looking forward to it.
So, Aaron, tell folks where they can find you online if they want to talk to you.
Yes, all of my handles are pretty much the same. At symbol Aaron, AARON, like Aaron, D, and then Spears, like Britney, SPEARS. That's I gave you all the little taglines to remember it. So I don't want to hear that you can't remember it. Twitter, Facebook, IG. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I got the name saved, but I haven't ticked the talk since I opened it. So yeah, that's me, man. And it's really me. So, it's not somebody answering for me. It's me. It's me.
It's him. And him and his cousin Brittany.
There you go, me and my cousin Brittany. Yeah.
Yes. Amanda Russ, somebody can find you in your podcast. Is there a new episode this week?
We're recording today.
Okay.
So I'll try to get it out tonight. I'll try.
See what happens.
You can find me on all the socials at The Bold and Beautiful Podcast.
Right. Amanda Russ in the building.
Tami Gavea, your turn.
Yep. Instagram, Tami Gavea, and Facebook and Twitter at Tami Gavea.
Thank you, everybody.
You know what?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
I have a question. What does Gouveia? Where's that come from?
Portuguese.
That sounds like a purse line or something.
It does.
That's like, ooh, like that's high fashion. Gouveia.
I like the way you say it.
Yeah, I like that. That's tight. I love it. Nice to meet you two ladies for sure.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh my God. And you can find me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. I am on TikTok, so you can follow me there and see what shenanigans I have going on over there. I'm the old guy on there doing stuff. I don't know what I'm doing on there. I'm on there, folks. And everybody thinks, again, in the chat room, everybody's like, they love you. They love the interview. He is real. He is fine. Share this interview if anybody needs to hear it or see it. Please share it with them. And everyone, please have a great week, and we'll see you.